Okay, folks, welcome to this week's Friday Waffle. I always think I sound really dull and uninteresting when I do that bit, so I'm going to have another go. Okay, guys, welcome to this week's Friday Waffle. Is that better? Probably not. I look like a complete tit. Anyway, yeah. How are you? It's actually Thursday. I generally don't record Friday Waffles on Fridays anymore. The only time I do that is generally a live one that I do. So yeah, I hope you're well. What have I been doing this week? Excuse me, I've got absolutely no plans at all, no script at all. And I know I keep saying it, but this quite literally will be the shortest waffle ever. I wonder what the shortest waffle I've done was. I think I done one that was about 13 minutes. Can't remember. Perhaps one of you guys can tell me. Anyway, yeah, what have I been doing this week? Since I did a live waffle last Friday. I'm trying to remember what I did actually. Yeah, kind of gaming wise. Well, what have I done? I was at Cooksoul on Saturday. I was at Cooksoul on Monday, and then I was at Cooksoul on Wednesday. On yesterday, which was Wednesday, though technically I should be saying, this is meant to be Friday, but anyway, I did an Arcade Perfect My Arse live earlier this week. It was Defender. Now, I actually thought I'd done a Defender one before, and I hadn't. And I think the reason I hadn't done it is because there are quite literally so many Defender clones released. Back in the early days of computers, virtually every game was based on an arcade game. I mean, there was really no such thing as original ideas in the early days. The thing is, consumers like myself, we didn't want to play original games. We wanted to play Space Invaders. We wanted to play Missile Command or Defender, whatever. So anyway, yeah, it was last night actually. I thought, right, I'm going to do an Arcade Perfect My Arse. Let's do Defender. I did a quick check, realised I hadn't done a Defender one. And I thought, right, I didn't want it to run on because there must be, certainly not thousands, but there must be an awful lot of clones on, especially 8-bit machines. I don't think there was any. Well, there was maybe one or two clones on the 16-bit. So anyway, I decided just to do, I think Atari or Atari Soft, they had the license to release Defender on the 8-bits. So what ones did we look at? I'm trying to think. We did IBM PC, we did VIC-20. There was no, despite Wikipedia telling me otherwise, there was never an official Defender for the Spectrum. Atari 8-bit, Atari 2600, Commodore 64, BBC. Now, I'm not going to tell you what one's the best because that would be spoiling it if you've not watched the Arcade Perfect My Arse. But I have to laugh. I mean, I know it's a running joke in my channel that, I never get to level 2. The thing is, that's not technically true. Games that I do play often, I can get past level 2. But when I'm making all these videos, I can play, maybe 20, 30 games in a live stream, and 9 times out of 10, I've never bloody played the game before. So I was getting it pretty tight last night from a few of the comedians on the channel. The thing about Defender is you need to play it. You really need to play it with proper controls. Defender is all about the up, down, thrust, hyperspace, smart bomb and fire, and it needs to be joystick controlled. Playing it with, so it doesn't need to be joystick controlled. It needs to be keys or proper arcade controls. Playing it with the joysticks, just it's not Defender. It really isn't. But some decent versions and some not quite so decent. So that was earlier on this week. I did that. I was at the computer club. I couldn't remember what I did on Tuesday. I was at the computer club on Tuesday. What did I take along? I took along my Atari. I was going to say my Atari 800. It wasn't. It was my Atari 130 XC, I think they call it. Took along that. The only problem is I forgot the power cable for the TV, the kettle lead. And we have our computer club and a bowling club. So I said to one of the guys, Richard, he kind of organises it. I says, have you not got a kettle lead anywhere? So we went into the kitchen, and unsurprisingly, there was 2 kettles, but they were both hardwired. There was no kettle lead. So eventually another guy brought along, Alan brought along a cable, which was good. So what was I playing? Photo Apocalypse, bit of Drop Zone. It was kind of that. I got given a gift. In fact, I can't be asked getting it. One of the lads, Alan, GTV Films, he does watch my channel. He was having a clear out of retro stuff, and he's built himself a multitude of kind of mini arcade cabinets, but he's also put together some little mini pinball games. Now, when I say mini, I really mean mini. They're powered with a 7-inch Amazon Fire tablet, whatever the hell it's called, and it's got the left and right button, and it's got the fire button. So Alan was getting rid of these. His wife, I think, gave him not an ultimatum, but she said, you better get rid of all that shit that you've got. So he was giving them away. So Alan asked me if I fancied one, so I took it. So I will do a little review of it at some point, which was awfully nice of him. So thank you, Alan, for that. That was Tuesday. Last night I did this is Arcade Perfect My Arse. Tonight I was swimming with my mate, Tommy. Good to get a wee bit of exercise. And this weekend coming, what am I doing? I'll be going through to my girlfriend's house. You all know my girlfriend by now. You've heard me telling her that I love her. Yeah, I was recording was it a live waffle last week? It was a live waffle. And I don't know what happened. I had the headset on, and she phoned, and I thought, right, I'm going to take this call, but I'll mute the microphone. So I muted it, and for about the first, I don't know, minute, you could see my lips were moving, but there was no sound. And then I moved, and I must have somehow unmuted it, because you heard the last 30 seconds of my conversation, including me telling my girlfriend that I loved her. So that's awfully sweet. I was actually thinking about, I downloaded the video, and I was going to edit it out, and then when I watched it, I thought, I've not said anything bad. You know what? It's staying in. If I can get away with editing a video, I absolutely will. So this weekend I'm going through to her, but not got any real plans. That's kind of been it. I've been playing. What have I been playing gaming wise? I've been playing my Xbox Series X, and I'm one of these guys. I mean, I've got Game Pass, so there's loads of games that I've never played before. But I'm one of these people, when it's the same with films, rather than watch a new film or play a new game, I always end up kind of going back to something that I've done before. And in this case, a game called Dishonored by Bethesda Software. And wow, what a game. There's very few kind of modern games that I actually like. I try and play them for a wee bit and I get bored. But Dishonored and Dishonored 2 are both fantastic games. They're kind of set in a sort of a cyberpunk, kind of Victorian-y, gothic-y sort of time. I don't know when it would be. I don't know, the Victorian times. But some of the weapons that you've got, I mean, you get different powers and that kind of stuff. One of my favourite powers that you get is a rat horde, and basically you pick. You get your enemy in your sight, and then you unleash this pack of rats, and they basically eat the guy to death. So some really, really good weapons, but I just love the atmosphere. It's a fantastic game. So I've been playing that. I'm probably about a quarter of the way through it. I'm stuck as always. I get stuck very easily in games. I know you'll find that hard to believe. So I've been playing that. I've been playing that quite a bit. That's been it. I've not played. You know what? I've not actually turned on any of my main cabs for about, I don't know, a couple of months, and it's weird because, you know, back if you were to go back 30 years and somebody was to tell you that you were going to own every single arcade game in the world, effectively, and you'd have it in your kitchen, you'd have access, to like 3 arcade machines, including, including like trackball games, twin stick shooters, vertical shooters, horizontal shooters. You know, it would have been like a dream come true, and I still absolutely love my cabs to bits. But I don't know. I think it is a getting old thing, definitely. It's weird because, as I said before, I live on my own, but I live with my daughter. My daughter stays with me. I've probably got more time than I've ever had to do stuff. But I do other things. Like I said, I see my girlfriend at the weekend. So my weekends, apart from my Sunday, my weekend is pretty kind of taken up. My Friday night, Saturday. Well, every second Friday night's fine, but my Saturday's completely gone. Because I spend time with her, I spend time with my daughter as well during the day. So my weekend's not really ideal. I've got Sunday night. I go to cook school 3 times, so that takes up a bit of time. I do try and make videos. I know I don't make that many. I'm kind of disappointed I've not got more out. But yeah, I don't know. Just in trying to find time to play games, I don't miss it. That's the thing. I don't think, oh God, I want to play them. I do want to play them, but I don't miss when I don't play them, if that makes any sense. I think that's just an age thing. And I've maintained for a long time that I like to talk about games more than actually play them. You know, I just love to reminisce and talk about the old days and talk about old gaming systems and what have you. Yeah, I'm looking at the... I think there was some questions because I did a live waffle last week, I didn't answer the questions from the week before, so I'm going to jump into these just now, but I'm looking at... There were a couple of questions that were popped up last week. Ian Hunter, hey Alan, a waffle question for you. Which retro system that received poor reviews on release would you like to own today? For me, I think it would be the Texas TI 994A from Texas Instruments. Which retro system that received poor reviews on release would you like to own today? You know what, Ian? I actually wouldn't mind a Texas. I did buy one. I'm sure I owned 2 at one point, and I got rid of both of them. And for the simple reason, I had no way of actually playing a game. So I had this computer, and that was, the first computer I ever owned. I had no way of loading up any software. If there was some way of doing it, then I think I would quite like a Texas. Trying to think of anything else. I mean, there's ones like the Jupiter Ace, which was bollocks, and it's still bollocks, but it sells for a lot of money. But I'm not interested in owning a machine just because it's worth a lot of money. I can't think of any offhand. I mean, the systems that I don't own are ones that I don't have any interest in owning. I mean, I've had I'm trying to think of computers that I bought and got rid of. I've owned a couple of Dragons, and I'm not talking about my ex-wife's here, by the way. I've owned a couple of Dragon 32s. I think actually I had a Dragon 64, or was it a Dragon 32? No, I think they're both Dragon 32s. And I got rid of them for the simple reason I had no means, again, of playing any games.
I've owned a couple of Texas machines. Again, got rid of them because I had no means of actually loading anything. I owned an MSX, got rid of it for exactly the same reason. What else? I also owned the Sword M5, which was a computer that I craved for a long time. I remember seeing pictures of it, excuse me, back in like 1983. And I always wanted one. I don't know why. There was just something about it. And I bought one about 10 years ago, and I used it twice, and I sold it about a year ago. No regrets getting rid of it. Anything else? I owned a Commodore 128 for about 20 minutes. And the reason I say I owned it for 20 minutes is because I bought it off a guy on Facebook. And when I got it home, it didn't work properly. And I said to the guy, and he came back and he took it away. So I literally owned it for 20 minutes. Again, I've not got any nostalgia for it. I don't have any urge to own it again because, well, as I ably demonstrated a couple of weeks ago when I did a Commodore 128 live stream, there's really very few, if any, games specific 128 versions that are worth getting. So nothing there. I mean, to kind of turn it on its head in, there's a few systems which were absolutely panned back in the day, and they're even panned now, but I love the fact that I've got it. And the first one is the Virtual Boy, Nintendo Virtual Boy. It came out, I don't know, 1985, something like that. And it was out for a very short space of time because apparently it was giving people migraine headaches, and it died a death. I mean, it was absolutely not a success because of that. And I've had mine for quite a long time, and I love the fact that I've got it. It's people still pan it to this day, but I love the fact that I have it. I suppose the Vectrex was one machine which was panned. Well, it wasn't really panned, but it was. I don't think people really knew what it was back in the day. Yeah, it was a kind of oddball because I remember going to the local Woolworths, and they had a Vectrex. But the funny thing was, I'm sure they had it in the record department rather than the video game department. They had a separate video games bit where they had the Atari 2600 and the ColecoVision, I think also an Intellivision. But oddly, the Vectrex was in the record department. But like I said, I don't think people really knew or understood what it was. Weird. Another system which I really like, and I would never get rid of it unless I need the money or I get to the point where I think I've had enough, is Atari Lynx. Not the Atari Lynx, Atari Jaguar, I should say. Yeah, it's a system that has been universally panned because there's probably two games actually worth playing. The first one, and to my mind, it's worth getting it just for that, and it's Tempest 2000 by Jeff Minter or Lamasoft. Or no, it wasn't by Lamasoft, it was by Jeff Minter, and it was also released by Atari. Fantastic game. Yeah, it does struggle a wee bit with the hardware. I don't think the hardware was fully up to kind of running it properly, but it's a great game, and it's even better because of the fact that I've got one of my mates, Andy Clegg, very kindly put a spinner. He put a spinner underneath one of the controllers, so it means, and it was actually designed. Jeff Minter programmed the game to use a spinner, but it's not an option. It's not a default option. You've got to plug in a second controller, and then you hold down two buttons or something, and then when you go to controls, you've actually got the option for spinner. So it was built into the controller, and Atari probably said to Jeff Minter, look, you need to get rid of that because there's no spinners available. And rather than delete it, Jeff just kind of hid it. He made a kind of Easter egg. So that's a great game. The other game I think is worth playing, which I don't actually have, is Alien vs Predator. I know it did come out for the PlayStation and all that bollocks later on, but I think that's the only other game. So yeah, these are kind of two systems in that I've got that are universally panned, but I love the fact that I've actually got them. So anyway, thanks Ian. And Milthy Swinbuckle, let's have a wee look. Oh bloody hell, this is a doozy. What have been the most exciting times for you during your lifetime in the following things, whether these things lived up to your expectations or not? Technology, the most exciting time. The most exciting time, I'm not going to go on and on and on and on about it. Well, in fact, no, I was going to answer that, but I've just looked at number 2. The most exciting time for technology, I suppose, if I'm being honest, would be the internet. Yeah, the ability to talk to friends online, the ability to download a Commodore 64 game was phenomenal. So I would say the internet for technology. Computers, consoles and their games, 100% my Commodore 64. That was a game changer. And, you know, I got my Atari ST, then I got my Amiga, and that was a big thrill. But every subsequent kind of upgrade, if that's what you want to call it, has been less. That thrill has been less and less. It's called the law of diminishing returns. Sport, perhaps not just professional, but even something you've taken part in. Well, I'm going to, sporting-wise, sport that I watched, what has been the most exciting time? I think I loved watching athletics. I'm not a football fan at all. Loved watching athletics. I used to love watching the athletics with my dad when it was like Steve Cram, Sebastian Coe, Steve Ovett, all these guys. But I think the most exciting sporting moment for me, and probably quite a few other people, and it's not a sport that I'm into at all now, and it was 1985, the Crucible World Snooker Championships. Steve Davis versus Dennis Taylor, the infamous black ball final. Brilliant. I remember sitting with my dad watching it. It was about midnight, and it was like during the week. Oh no, it was a Monday night, or was it a Sunday night? I think it was a Monday night actually. And yeah, that was a fantastic thing to watch. Films, the most exciting time. I think when I first saw Star Wars, either that or Back to the Future. I remember Mum and Dad actually went to see Back to the Future, and they told me all about it and said, "Oh, it's a great film, you'll need to go and see it, son." And I went to see it and I wasn't disappointed. But I think Star Wars, the first Star Wars. And number 5, anything else you want to talk about? Sorry, sport, just before we move on, something that I've taken part in. The highlight for me would be getting my 3rd West Highland Way goblet. Now, the goblet you get when you finish the race, you've got to finish it within 35 hours. It's 96 miles over a rough terrain. You're climbing about 14,500 feet, and you've got 35 hours to finish it. I've done it twice before, and I've done it. The first 2 times were faster. The second time was actually my quickest. But my last one, which I did in 2017, I was unfit, I was overweight, I was undertrained, and I still managed to do it. And 60 people pulled out that year because of the weather. It was atrocious. It was freezing. I mean, it takes part in the middle of summertime, the longest sort of night. But it was the weather was horrendous. And to this day, I'm still stupidly proud that I dug in, I stayed with it, and I managed to get my 3rd goblet. So, yeah. So, great question, Milthy. Thank you very much for that, buddy. Right, let me just quickly jump into the waffle from, where are we not? That's that one there. Friday Waffle from the 12th. Right, okay. Let's have a quick look. Right, wee Bob. Enjoyed listening as always. Question for next time. In the high score kerfuffle, usually it's a high score. The clues in the title, but sometimes, as with pole position, it was the fastest qualifying lap, all of which brought out the competitive nature of the games. What type of games have you enjoyed over the years in a competitive way? Preferably something a bit obscure, but that is not sports related. Well, I was going to give you the answer, and it was going to be sensible soccer. But you're saying it's not sports related. I mean, sensible soccer, I love that game. I played it constantly with my mates. You know, we'd have all-nighters playing it. I used to play it against a mate at work. We would save, he would give me the disc, I would play my games, save it, take it back to him, he would play his games, save it, he'd give it back to me, and so on. Fantastic. What type of games have you enjoyed in a competitive way? Well, again, I was going to say one that's a bloody sporting one, and it would be track and field. Love track and field. It's a game I'm probably better than average at it, to be fair. And I've played it face to face against Sick Boy and one of my other mates, a guy called Ellie, who doesn't watch the channel. But having face to face competition on an arcade machine at track and field was awesome. Trying to think of anything else. No, I mean, not really. I can't think of anything. I mean, I never played speedball. Never a fan of that game. Don't know why. Not quite sure what it is about that I don't like, but I can't think of any. I mean, again, getting back to driving games. I mean, me and my mate, we used to play Mario Kart, and you would just try and get the fastest lap, and then you'd play things like Gran Turismo and all these games. And there was a cracking game in the SNES. What was it called? Street Racer. Very similar to what do you call it? Mario Kart. So yeah, played kind of games like that. But I can't think of anything kind of non sports related, Bob. But listen, thank you very much. Right, Multi Swinbuckle. Here's 4 tricky questions. I'll give it my best. What are your top action films featuring a female in the main role? Top action films featuring a female in the main role. Bloody hell. I mean, the obvious one, I'm trying to think of films that I've seen that have got a female in the main role, and they would say it's like Tomb Raider, but they're a bit shit. I'm trying to think. A female in the main role. You know what? I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I actually watch very, very few films. I really do. I mean, out of anybody, I would probably say I'm the person that that's watched the least number of films. Anytime I see these 100 films you must watch before you die, 70 of them I've never seen. Films I've never seen. I've never seen any of the Godfathers. Never seen Blade Runner. There's loads of them. Loads and loads of them. I'm trying to think. A female lead, and it's an action film. I suppose, I'd probably say Alien. Not Aliens, Alien, the original. I'm just going to go for one MILF if that's alright. Are there any news-related stories that happened during your childhood, be they good, bad or indifferent, that still stick with you to this day? You know what, Milfy? I haven't a clue if there was any big event that actually happened when I was born. Apart from me being born, obviously, that was huge. That was a huge world event. I don't actually know. In fact, let's have a quick look. Let's do a quick news events. News October 19. By the way, it's my birthday on October the 19th. Next month. Please, please, please don't send anything too big for my birthday. I mean it. Nothing too major. Right, I've just started typing it, and then I've news October 19. In fact, I should actually just put 19th, 1967.
Right, let's see if there's anything that actually happened. Right, here we go. What happened? Whoops. What happened on October the 19th, 1967? Number one, Mainmeister was born, obviously. Number two, Igor Ter-Ovolnysin of the USSR sets the then long jump record at 27 feet 4 3/4 inches. There you go. And Mariner 5 makes a flyby of Venus. Anything else? Amy Carter, Jimmy Carter's daughter, was born in that. Yoko Shimamura, a Japanese pianist and video game composer. Well, there you go. He was born in Hyogo, Japan on that day. I am apparently a goat sheep for Chinese. In generation, I am a Generation X. And there you go. My birthday, I am 54 years old, 10 months and 6 days old. And I was born on a Thursday. And the number one in America was To Sir With Love by Lulu. And in the UK, it was Massachusetts by the Bee Gees. There you are. Fantastic. Right. Anyway, thanks for that, Milfy. Let's have a quick squint. I missed out number two. What films did you see as a young kid, say 7 and under, that you still enjoy today? Like I said, I watched very, very few films. I'll tell you a film I did watch as a kid. My dad was a massive fan of it, and it was Zulu. Thousands of them. I actually watched that just a couple of weeks ago. Great film. But he never actually says, he does say Zulus, thousands of them. It's not Michael Caine that says that, it's the other guy. Zulus, thousands of them. Michael Caine never actually says, wait until you can see the white of their eyes. He never actually says that. Right, number two, what films did you see? Yeah, Zulu, go for that one. And the last part of Milfy's one is, what actor, actress, well, technically they're all actors now, gave a performance in film, stage or TV that you thought was amazing, outdoing all their other acting performances that you now consider some of the best acting you've ever seen? Again, I'm probably the wrong person to kind of to comment in that, but I mean, I love, and again, I'm not a classical, you're probably thinking, oh, bloody hell, you're going to want me to go for like Humphrey Bogart or something like that. No, I'm going to go, one of my favourite actors is Tom Hanks. I just think he's got the ability to put himself into any film. He's done stuff like Philadelphia, where he was a guy, he was gay, dying of AIDS, very powerful film. He also did the part, what was it, where he played the part of a pilot who landed an aircraft in the Hudson River. Forrest Gump, I know it's a kind of comedy, but I think he's fantastic, really good. Love Tom Hanks. I'm trying to think of any other, what are my favourite films? One of my favourite films, and I've mentioned it before, is, Chariots of Fire. Yeah, I think the acting in that is phenomenal. Ian Charleston and not Ben Kingsley, I can't remember his name. He actually died fairly recently. Well, I'm saying recently, probably died a few years ago. But yeah, most of the other films that I like are just kind of cheesy stuff. So they don't really class. They don't really count. So anyway, listen, thank you very much, Milfy. Two more. Let's see. Colin Jones, I don't know if he's asked a question. Many systems do have their place, but not in my house. I have the 64, which I very rarely use due to other options. Question for next waffle. If a Mainmeister biography movie was ever made, who would you cast as the main role? You can choose who to consider as main. Bloody hell. Who would play me now
Jesus, that's a good question. I don't know. I get told I look like Phil Collins. I get told without the beard I look like Midge. I'm trying to think. I think the kind of person facially I think I kind of look a wee bit like is not body wise because he's got a great physique. Is the guy Ant Middleton beard? Although he's got hair, so I don't really look him at all. Actually, I'm trying to think who would play me. Who would I want to play me? It'd obviously be Tom Hardy, something like that. But he's not Scottish. I'm trying to think. If we get Gerard Butler, obviously, I think, yeah. No, I can't actually think who would play. It'd probably be some small fat bloke, I think. So, yeah. Right. Anyway, thank you very much, Colin. And last one, Jimmy Tick 74. Hi, mate. I don't comment too much because I usually listen to the podcast instead of watching you. But my question is, excuse me, I have recently got into Euro Truck and American Truck Simulator. So what is your opinion on simulator games? Cheers, mate. I've actually, thanks for the question, Jimmy. It's great to help see you commenting. I've played Euro Truck Simulator, and the idea of the game appeals to me. I like the fact that it's like realistic. It's like driving a real truck. It's like driving around real places, albeit it's kind of, it's kind of miniaturized. But again, like a lot of other games, it's finding the time to actually play it. There's a few people. There's one guy, I'm not even going to mention him because he has a YouTube channel and he disappears. Another YouTube channel, he disappears, but he plays it all the time. He's got 3 screens and it does look impressive, I have to say. But yeah, I can understand the appeal of a game like that. But it requires a lot of investment of time, and again, I can't be asked. I've not got the time to sit and play something like that. But I do like games like that. I've had the time and a decent. I mean, my PC is good, I have to say. I would play it. I'll just give you a laugh. One of the games that I was playing, and it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. One of the guys at my work was asking me about. He says, "Do you ever play things like Lawnmower Simulator?" And I says, "I haven't. I think I've played it once. I've tried Farm Simulator, but a game that I've been playing in the Xbox Series X, and I did pay for it. It's on Game Pass, and it's Power Wash Simulator. Yep, you actually have to power wash stuff. So I've been playing this second level. You've got to power wash the entire garden, the slabs, the garden hut, the dog kennel, the barbecue, you name it, the fence. You've got to power wash it. I was playing it a couple of weeks ago, and my daughter came downstairs. She's like, "What's that noise, Dad? What are you doing?" I says, I'm power washing the garden, and I'm sitting playing this at 11 o'clock at night, and it's like I go on about. I kind of slag people for playing games that take hours and hours and hours and hours. I'm thinking that is time I would rather spend doing something else. And here's me sitting in my living room playing a power wash simulator. Seriously. Anyway, guys, listen, I'm going to get going. I've managed to arc this to almost 50 minutes. So I will just talk for the next 20 seconds to get it over the 50 minutes. Yeah, listen, thanks as always to all the continued support you lot give me. To new subscribers, old subscribers, it's great to have everyone. Please keep the comments coming. Yeah. So listen, guys, have a great weekend. I will be along on Sunday. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. I'll be along on Sunday, 7 o'clock until 9 for my usual live stream. So have a great weekend, guys. And until next time, as always, thank you very much for watching.